Welcome to another Heart to Heart with Statton. Today I'll be talking about my first yet recent tabletop Dungeons and Dragons experience. Now, before I begin, I would like to remind all of you that I did talk about in one of my first videos on YouTube about if I was ever going to roleplay in Neverwinter, which they do in the PC version. And mentioned how I tried that a few times with very bad results. I mean, one a few of the role players I encountered, and by few I mean few groups, not individuals. If you do one tiny thing they didn't like, they would ridicule you and treat you like garbage for it. And that left the whole role playing a bad taste in my mouth when it came to role playing. But anyways, there was someone I met who I recruited into my old guild. She is a DM for the tabletop Dungeons and Dragons, and for that reason, I shall call her DM. Well, she invited me into her Discord channel where she and her friends would do the tabletop of Dungeons and Dragons. So I got to spend some time with them and talk with them, and even observe some of their gameplay because I've never done the tabletop version before. I've tried to listen to YouTube videos about them, such as the RPG horror stories and all that, so I know what not to do and all that. I'm still trying to learn things like what a metagamer is, and I think I understand what a murder hobo is. And I don't plan on being anything like that, nor an edgelord or anything. Assuming I know what that is too, but only time will tell. But anyways, they asked me, or the DM asked me, would I be interested in joining their game, and I told her I didn't think it was such a good idea. She got the wrong idea as to why at first, why I didn't want to do it, and she thought it was for a particular reason, and I told her the reason was, and I told her the story about my past experiences, and she said that she could run it by the group if I wanted, and they would see how they felt on the matter, and I thought that was a good idea. So we all talked about it in a group, and after talking about it for like a half hour, they asked me would I be willing to join. I said sure. So the DM sent me a character sheet, and I started working on that sheet with her help. We were voice chatting, and we went through it. And it's one of those where you have to save continuously, otherwise you will lose all your hard work. And I thought I was saving it. I specifically remember saving over and over again. After we went through almost an hour trying to get everything done and set up, I decided to recreate Statton for the tabletop D&D. May not be original, I'll admit that, but it was the character I'm most comfortable with, so I decided to carry him on over into the tabletop D&D with one change. They thought Statton in the tabletop edition would be too weak with dual-wielding daggers, so I replaced his daggers with rapiers, and that I seem to be doing okay with those. And the DM has actually worked with me to provide my character with armor that has a special enchantment to take the appearance of anything I want it to appear as in regular clothing. So, as such, I get the power-ups from it, and I can still make Statton look like he's in his boxers, like what you see right now. Well, the very next day when we were supposed to start the game, I pulled up my character sheet to find out, it's a total blank. My thought was, the DM is gonna kill me for this. I told her I don't think I can do the gameplay today, but I decided to open up the handbook and go through it myself, which, once I finally got the hang of it, it was actually fun to do. And after it was all done, and I got some last minute help from her husband, whose character name is Gian. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Jian. If I just so you Gian or Giant, if I mispronounced your name, I apologize. But anyways, he helped me with the last minutes things such as the armor and stuff, and we started role playing for the first time, which giving Statton a little extra background story. They found him passed out drunk in a tavern, which was upon my request. I requested to the DM if that's how they could come across him, because it makes it seem like he doesn't care, like he's just. But it's like he spent. I wanted him to be like a combination of like Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing and Haymitch from the Hunger Games, where he's drunk when he's alone in his spare time. Just doesn't seem like he'd be that useful, but when he's out there actually on the field, out in the field in combat, oh yeah, he can put up a fight. That's how I wanted his character to be portrayed. And he would rather be a loner, doesn't really want to help people to help him. He likes to be hired to do things, but then for him to go out and do it and then get his reward in the end. So there's a little strife between him and the group because he doesn't like working in groups, but he kind of has to suck it up and do it. I'm gonna leave it there, but there is gonna be some character development with him. Anyways, I had a blast my first time, and considering how much patience they had to have with me, because I was rolling dice and in ways I was trying to figure out exactly what I was rolling for, such as the two attacks, one for each rapier, and the score would be a little different, would be a little less for the offhand one, which makes sense, and then you'd roll for damage. I actually my first combat battle wasn't until the day after, which was where I did a side quest as kind of a which was kind of like a introductory or a tutorial of it, which went okay. A lot of the things I was actually laughing about, I out loud, which good thing they couldn't hear me because I'd probably be disruptive, but I was enjoying myself so much. That's the first time I've ever had fun with role players, and I knew already that not all role players were bad, but this was the very first group I've actually encountered where even when I slipped up, even when I made mistakes, they didn't treat me bad for it. They didn't get mad for it. They would correct me, but they were understanding, and they were awesome. So I would like to give a shout out to the DM, to Gian, to Lily, Jensadi. I apologize, Jan, if I mispronounced your name. It's Jnsaadi, Roloran, and Meat. I thank all of you for being awesome. You are good people as well as good players, and you've become good friends to me also. And after that, the DM texted me on Discord and asked me. I can't believe I'm telling this part, but she asked me, so how was your experience in roleplay on your first time? And I said this. I typed in, this was the best roleplay I have ever experienced. But by the time I hit enter, I realized too little too late that the autocorrect kicked in. And so the word roleplay was changed, well, I'll let your imaginations roll from there. So it said that this was the best play I have ever experienced. I Anyways, we had a good laugh at that, which that's not the first time we've had some awkward autocorrect encounters. But anyways, then the other day or last Friday, had my second experience with them in the whole Dungeons and Dragons, which there was more combat this time. So that I'm actually thinking I'm getting the hang of this, and I think these people are just awesome, and I kind of wish I could actually record the gameplay itself, which I won't do it out of respect for them. But I honestly feel like the role players that do tend to get awfully crabby over easily could definitely take a lot of lessons with this group, because one thing is I get it, when you role play, you want things to go your way. I get it. But at the same time, you also got to realize you're role playing as a group. Not everything is going to be in your complete control. You can only control your own character. That you can't go losing your temper every single time someone new joins your group and they do something you don't like, cuz if they're trolling, that's one thing. But if they're not trying to irritate you on purpose. So right now, it's gotten to the point where I won't get into details, but the characters are starting to warm up more to Statton's character, and Statton, well, he's kind of going at it at a slower pace. He is starting to care for the group because he's been with them for a while now, but he doesn't. It makes him uncomfortable. He doesn't like the fact that he's starting to care for the group, and for that reason he's becoming more distant. He's not looking at the other characters as much. He's starting to talk less, but that's because he's trying to build that wall. Now, if that wall can be broken or not, I can't tell you ahead of time, because I don't want every move Statton makes to be scripted. I actually want it to be a little bit of, yeah, I have a general idea where I'm going with him, but the details I'm just gonna go with the flow sort of thing. So, and as comparing the tabletop of Dungeons and Dragons with Neverwinter, because Neverwinter technically is a Dungeons and Dragons game. I love Neverwinter, so don't take this the wrong way, but the tabletop version of D&D definitely puts Neverwinter and the other online games to shame. You can do more in the tabletop version than you can do in this game. And I can't wait till the next time for our next meeting when I play with this group again. They are just really great people. And if you have never played tabletop Dungeons and Dragons before, I strongly recommend that you give it a try. Take the time to learn the game and make sure you're joined with a good group. Because only with the right group can you have a good time with it. If you're going to end up with a group where they mistreat you, and there are groups like that out there, it's going to ruin your experience. So it's kind of like, do your homework. Make sure that you have a good grasp of the game. You don't need a complete good grasp, because if you have the right group, they will help you through the rest. And you need a group of people that actually care about you and won't try to ridicule you for every tiny mistake. I've made my plenty of mistakes during my first 2 times, and they never once held it against me, and I am grateful for that. So, and like I said, don't mistake what I said as me bad mouthing Neverwinter, because even though Neverwinter is getting its fair share, more than its fair share of haters, and it is losing popularity with some of the choices they've made, I still like it, and hopefully I always will. It'll always have a special place in my heart, as far at least I believe it will, unless it does something very, very bad that's worth me disliking. Oh, one other thing. The edition we play is 3.5. I haven't had any other experience, so that would be the edition I'd recommend. And that's the video for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. My name is Statton. Like, share, and subscribe, and you all have yourselves a wonderful day.